The Blood of Olympus. A Cold Reckoning original story. 15-minute version. Part 1. The Woman on the Black Shore. There is a law older than Zeus, older than Olympus, older than the sea itself. It cannot be seen, it cannot be negotiated, and it never forgets. What you do to others eventually returns to you. Not always quickly, not always fairly, but always. This story begins on a lonely beach on the island of Naxos. Ariadne sat alone on the black sand. Just hours earlier, she had betrayed everything for love. She had betrayed her father, King Minos, and her homeland. She had given Theseus the thread that guided him through the Labyrinth and helped him kill the Minotaur. Without her, he would have died. Without her, Athens would never have celebrated him. Without her, there would be no hero. And now he was gone. While she slept, Theseus carried her from the ship and left her behind. No goodbye, no explanation, no mercy. Only empty horizons. Ariadne stared at the sea. And then she heard laughter. Warm, wild, almost dangerous. A man stood among the trees. Grapevines wrapped around his shoulders. A leopard rested beside him. His eyes shone like dark wine. Dionysus, god of wine, god of madness, god of freedom. He sat beside her. Theseus is an idiot. For the first time that night, Ariadne almost smiled. Dionysus looked toward the sea. He'll forget to change the sails. Ariadne frowned. What sails? The black sails on his ship. He promised his father white ones if he survived. Silence. And when his father sees black sails, Dionysus shrugged. He'll think his son is dead. Ariadne stared at him. And then, he'll throw himself into the sea. The gods spoke without cruelty, only certainty. Ariadne looked away. You knew Theseus would abandon me. Dionysus nodded. Yes. Why didn't you stop him? For a long moment, the god said nothing. Then he answered quietly. Because some lessons cannot be taught. They must be survived. And with those words, everything changed. Part 2. The King Who Forgot. Theseus returned to Athens, exactly as Dionysus predicted. He forgot the sails. His father saw black against the horizon. Believing his son dead, King Aegeus threw himself from a cliff into the sea. The waters would forever bear his name, the Aegean Sea. And just like that, Theseus became king, a hero crowned by a mistake. He built his kingdom, won victories, earned praise, and slowly forgot Ariadne, forgot the woman who had saved him, forgot the sacrifice she made, forgot the debt he owed. But the universe never forgets. Years passed. Theseus married Ariadne's younger sister, Phaedra. He had a son named Hippolytus. And that is where the reckoning began. Far above Olympus, Aphrodite watched. The goddess of love had never forgiven Theseus for mocking her power. Now she saw an opportunity, a punishment. She cursed Phaedra with an impossible obsession. Phaedra fell desperately in love with Hippolytus, her own stepson. She fought it, prayed against it, cried against it. But divine curses do not care about human suffering. Eventually, the truth came out. Hippolytus rejected her with horror. Humiliated and desperate, Phaedra made a terrible choice. She lied. She accused Hippolytus of attacking her. Then she took her own life. Theseus found her letter. And instead of searching for the truth, he chose anger. He chose certainty. He chose judgment. Without investigation, without questions, without mercy, he called upon Poseidon, and he cursed his own son. The sea answered. A monstrous bull rose from the waves. Hippolytus's horses panicked. The chariot shattered, and the innocent young man died screaming on the rocks. Only afterward did the truth emerge. Only afterward did Artemis reveal everything. The curse, the lie, the innocence of Hippolytus. Theseus stood over the broken body of his son and understood. Too late. Just as his father had died because of his carelessness, his son had died because of his pride. The debt had been collected. Part 3. The Woman Who Rose. While Theseus watched his life collapse, Ariadne was thriving. Dionysus loved her, not as a possession, not as a prize, but as an equal. For 15 years they ruled together. And Ariadne learned something she had never known before. She learned what it felt like to be seen. The abandoned princess became a queen. The discarded woman became immortal. The forgotten daughter became a legend. On their wedding day, Dionysus gave her a crown, 7 brilliant stars. A gift unlike anything the world had ever seen. A promise that she would never again be forgotten. And one day, that crown would shine forever in the heavens. But before that happened, another story needed to end. The story of her father, King Minos. Part 4. The Labyrinth. Minos believed in control. The labyrinth was more than a prison. It was a philosophy. Hide what shames you. Lock it away. Pretend it doesn't exist. The Minotaur was his shame, a monster born from a curse. Instead of facing it, Minos fed innocent children to it. Year after year, life after life. Until Theseus arrived, and Ariadne gave him the thread. When the Minotaur died, Minos wasn't angry because he loved the creature. He was angry because the truth escaped. The thing he had hidden was finally exposed. And like all men obsessed with control, he discovered that control is temporary. Eventually, Minos died. His kingdom faded. His power vanished. His wealth disappeared. Everything he built was left behind. Everything except his choices. Those followed him into the underworld. Part 5. The God Who Understood. Of all the gods, one understood Ariadne best. Not Zeus, not Apollo, not even Dionysus. Hephaestus, the god of the forge, the god nobody admired. He was mocked for his appearance, rejected by his own family, thrown from Olympus. Yet despite everything, he kept creating beauty. While others destroyed, he built. While others judged, he endured. And when he heard Ariadne's story, something moved inside him. He forged a crown unlike any ever made. 7 stars, 7 lights, 7 symbols of survival. Not for a warrior, not for a king. For a woman who walked into darkness and found her way out. He sent it to Dionysus. Dionysus smiled. Then he cast the crown into the heavens, and the stars accepted it. The Corona Borealis, the northern crown, Ariadne's crown. Still shining tonight, still burning thousands of years later. Part 6. The Reckoning. Eventually, everyone arrived at the same destination, the underworld. Heroes, kings, monsters, gods. All stories end there. Theseus arrived carrying the weight of every mistake. The father he accidentally killed, the woman he abandoned, the son he condemned, the kingdom he failed. His victories no longer mattered, only his choices. Minos arrived carrying his own burden, a lifetime spent hiding truth, a lifetime spent feeding innocent people to protect his pride. And Ariadne? Ariadne never came, because she had already risen beyond the reach of ordinary endings. She watched from the stars, and she saw something important. The universe does not always protect the innocent. It does not always stop suffering. But eventually, it balances the scales. Every betrayal, every cruelty, every forgotten promise, every black sail. Eventually, the accounting comes due, and the universe always collects. Epile, the crown in the sky. Tonight, somewhere above you, the Corona Borealis still shines. Most people never notice it. Most people don't know its story. But sailors once used it to find their way home. Not Theseus, Ariadne, the woman history tried to forget, the woman a hero abandoned, the woman who became a constellation. That is why her crown still burns in the heavens. Not because she was perfect, not because she was powerful, but because she endured. And sometimes, endurance becomes immortality. The gods may forget, kings may rewrite history, but the stars remember, and so does the universe. Cold reckoning, because the cosmos never forgets.